story in the development, and it's one that we have kept a very close watch on. This is the AI171 crash probe that continues to intensify. And now we bring to you a big development in this very crash probe that continues. The Air India has found no issues with the fuel lock switch. Remember, there was a report that had been released only on Saturday, the preliminary report of the very probe that continues, and the fuel lock switch. There was a conversation that had taken place between the pilots which had highlighted the malfunctioning of the fuel lock switch. Now Air India has come out to say that there are no issues in the B787 fuel switch lock mechanism. The B787s underwent throttle control module replacement. The Air India, that is, finds no issues with locking mechanisms of fuel control switch in the B787 planes. Official Air India on Wednesday completed the inspection of the locking mechanism of fuel control switches in its Boeing 787 planes and did not find any issues, according to an airline official. Now, on Monday, aviation watchdog dgca directed airlines to inspect the fuel switch locking system in the Boeing 787 and 737 planes against the very backdrop of the AAIB's preliminary report stating that the fuel switches were cut off before the Air India plane crash that killed 260 people last month. These are the latest details that we have, viewers, for you on the very probe that continues. With that, Amit Bhardwaj joining us on the broadcast to bring us more details on this. Amit, you've been keeping a very close watch on how the probe has been developing. Help us understand. Previously, when this report had come out, we'd seen it was the fuel lock switch, that the mechanism of it that we were looking at. Now we are given to understand that Air India has said that there's nothing wrong with these lock switches.
Well, sir, we have to look into the context that on the day when the AAIB report came out, and it was very clear that the focus of the investigation of the AI171 crash was fixed on fuel control switches or the fuel cutoff switches of the Boeing dreamliner that crashed in Ahmedabad on June 12th. So immediately, Air India, or rather Air India Group, which is Air India and the Air India Express, went on to conduct inspection of its fuel control switches, or the FCS, for the Boeing Dreamliner 787, which is with Air India, and Boeing 737, which is with Air India Express. And we were being told that so far there have been no trouble or snags that have been found out in the inspections that were going on. But on July 14, the DGCA formally issued an order to all the operators in India, whose crafts are registered, Boeing crafts are registered in India, to go ahead with FCS inspections and report to the agency if any compliance violation is found or any technical snag is found with the FCS. But now Air India, in the communication that it has sent to its pilots yesterday, so remember, all that we are breaking at this point in time is the communication by Air India flight operations to its all pilots who are flying a Boeing 787, and it has been told to the Air India pilots that the inspection of the FCS, that is the fuel control switches, is complete. As far as 787 fleet is concerned, no technical snag has been found in this entire inspection, as well as the PCM module. Yes.
Right. We do understand what has been said by Air India. Thank you for bringing us those details. But right now, viewers, we have some more information when we speak of the very tragic, the devastating crash that had taken place on June 12th. We'll bring you more details as we are now moving on to our next breaking news into the same story. Now, what we are given to understand is that the Federation of Indian Pilots, this is the FIP, has now come out to express concerns regarding the preliminary findings and public discourse surrounding the tragic crash of Air India Flight AI171 in Ahmedabad. They said, and I quote, "At the outset, we would like to register our dissatisfaction with the exclusion of pilot representatives from the investigation process. Assigning blame before a thorough, transparent and data-driven investigation is both premature and irresponsible. Remember, viewers, this is not the first time that the Pilots Association has come out to say how they are dissatisfied with how this very probe has been proceeding, because there seems to be no pilot representatives involved. Remember, we lost both pilots in this very crash that had taken place. There was a conversation that was also highlighted in the first report that had come in from the AAIB, which was surrounding the very fuel lock switch that we just brought you more information about. And now this is what we are bringing to you. Nagarjun Dwarkanath joins us on the broadcast to bring us more details. Nagarjun, a very good morning to you. Let us understand, the pilots have been discontent, they have been dissatisfied, and this is not the first time they have expressed this. This is the second time they've come out to make a statement like this, where they want pilot representatives in the probe as well to give their narrative, to share their account of what may have gone down between the two pilots.
Good morning, Shreya. That's absolutely true. In fact, this is the second such pilot association who have come down heavily on the investigative report, and media also for the interpretation and half-baked report. The Federation of Indian Pilots have released a statement, and they said that they register their dissatisfaction firstly for exclusion of pilot representatives from the investigative process. They feel that the AAIB had to have some private pilots also involved in the investigation to take their opinion and expert comments. And they also have put in the statement that the data and the lags rely to selectively paraphrase cockpit voice recording to suggest pilot error and question the professional competence and the integrity of the flight crew. Because we saw the preliminary report which spoke about how one pilot speaks to another pilot, why did he do that in terms of cutting off the fuel switches. They say that it's not comprehensive and lacks data, and just based on few recordings from the cockpit, it is interpreted by media and by experts as well, and hence they question the report as to why they are given only half-baked data and not full data, and it has to be transparent, and it's premature to give such information is what the Pilot Association has said now.
Premature to release information of the sort that has been so far in the probe. That is what we are picking up. And yes, the pilot dissatisfaction at the same time now growing as the probe continues. With that, viewers, that's all we have for you in terms of the probe that we have been keeping a close watch on. We will keep bringing you all the latest updates on the story as and when they come in.